Now he's gonna try out his new spider powers.
Oh my god! Holy shit, this just got amazing. Oh boy. Oh man, the perspective like doesn't work at all. That's a little better.
Like, who cares if
No,
anyone
it doesn't.
sees
Wait,
me?
it's still weird. Look at that! That doesn't make sense. So, Spider-Man. We've talked about Spider-Man a couple times already, one of the biggest superheroes of all time, and they've done a lot of adaptations of him throughout his history. Today we are talking about a television series that was produced in 1977 called The Amazing Spider-Man. We watched what was a 90-minute TV pilot that was aired as a TV movie.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Music-wise, it has the best soundtrack of any of the Spider-Man things we've seen so far. It just honestly has a good soundtrack. I would listen to it. It was fun.
It's a weird way to tell the origin of Spider-Man. We start with a doctor who's examining the blood pressure of one of his patients, and he just gets up and leaves in the middle of it and leaves the thing on the guy's arm, and the guy's like, where are you going? Then we cut to a lawyer in a courtroom, and he's talking, and then he suddenly just like walks out.
Yeah.
He just leaves the courtroom, and this doctor and this lawyer team up. They go to a bank. They rob it?
They rob it with a gas mask and a gun and a gas grenade.
Gas grenade,
Yeah.
yes. And then they just crash their car and kill themselves or go into a coma. It wasn't clear which
Yeah.
one was it. Then, immediately after, we get to see the origin of Spider-Man. Now, everyone knows Spider-Man's origin is that he got bitten by a radioactive spider. So that's what we see.
Before that, there's such a long scene of them slowly moving radioactive material, I guess it is, because
It's like
with a claw.
Yeah, it's like a robot arm.
It's up to 400 rads.
This is so slow. Oh my god, do we need... can we just cut to the end
my
results?
God. Gotta see all of this. Oh my god.
Still going
It's
on.
still going. What were they even doing?
Science.
So Peter gets stung by the spider. There's no Uncle Ben in this version, just like in Spider-Man Homecoming. This is very similar to Spider-Man Homecoming. There's
Yeah.
lots of parallels. Then Peter is on his way home, and a car follows him for some reason that is never properly explained. And he either just notices it because he hears it, or his spider sense tells him about it. We're not sure. But this car follows him into this dead end, and he doesn't know what to do, so he just starts climbing up the wall.
Like it's completely natural.
Yeah, like he just does it. He hasn't had any Spider-Man experiences. He hasn't even had the scene where he realizes he has powers. He just runs to the wall and starts climbing it like Spider-Man does. And after he does it, he's just like, well, that was odd.
And the car that's chasing after him is chasing after him so fast that it just smashes into a dead end, which you could see was about to hit. And then he climbs back down, And then the police show up, and they're just like, oh, you were just here. Like, no one suspects. They just let him go.
Well, we gotta talk about the police captain,
Right,
who's the
yeah.
best character in this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you want me to do about this Spider-Man?
Oh, I'm getting reinforcements for him.
Good.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And if we're lucky, maybe Rumpelstiltskin will lend us a hand. What am I gonna do about Spider-Man? How do I know? I'm a cop, not an exterminator.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Send that college kid in here.
Right away, Captain.
Love this guy.
I want a movie just about him, honestly. Like,
He's just like a no-nonsense captain
Right.
who has a half-smoked cigar that's not even lit.
it feels like it's the same cigar throughout every scene, maybe. But we were wondering that. We weren't sure.
Yeah,
what
well,
we
it
theorized.
looks like the same cigar because
prop.
it's definitely the same prop because it's
Yeah.
always just like the half of the cigar
Right.
and it's never lit and he like repeatedly takes it in and out of his mouth throughout the episode.
He's great. He's so entertaining to watch.
I want a cop stationed at his door. As soon as the doctor says he's all right, call me. He's the only one not in a coma. The rest are under a doctor's care. Take off.
Lisa, tell me what happened.
He robbed the payroll. A professor yet. I know, it doesn't make any sense, right? Right.
He's giving it his all.
Yeah.
I love him.
So Peter goes home and he dreams about what happened to him. And I guess that's how he puts it together, that that's why he has powers.
Yeah, he has a dream where he literally they replay the sequence of events that just happened and just sort of like overlay him sort of sleeping and go,
Yeah, we get our second climbing sequence in which Peter goes out the window in his room and, you know, he starts climbing around and it looks so terrible. The perspective doesn't match at all. Some of the time it looks okay and a lot of the time it looks just terrible. Then Peter is, you know, out practicing his powers.
Right, yeah, he just like is walking around and then he sees like a blank wall and he's like, I'm gonna climb up that. And then he just like looks around and he sees like a woman getting robbed and then he slowly climbs back down and the robber like sees him and is just so stunned that he just like stops running and just stares and
Yeah.
gets caught.
Yeah, he's like, there's a guy up there. There's a guy up there. It's literally like four people there.
people.
And from
Look,
that,
look.
the story of Spider-Man just spreads across the city.
Right.
In a matter of less than a day, everyone in the city knows about Spider-Man, and they've given him the nickname Spider-Man. And then later we are at JJ's office and he mentions how people are talking about the Spider-Man. And Peter is like, oh, the Spider-Man? I know him.
Right.
And they're like, you know him? Oh, how do you know him? What does he look like? And Peter is like, well, he wears a costume and he shoots webs. And at this point, he hasn't made a costume or designed the web shooter.
Right.
So he just pulled that out of his ass. And then I guess he figured, well, shit, now I gotta make a costume and a web shooter.
And he goes home and he makes them.
Yeah, he goes home and
Instantly.
he just makes the outfit, which is a fairly decent Spider-Man suit, except for the eyes. The eyes are silver, and it's hard to describe what is it
Almost
with
like
them.
too round, maybe?
Yeah, they're just kind of weirdly positioned on
Yeah.
his face.
Like maybe too high up. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah.
There's another robbery where
Right.
this professor robs a bank and crashes his car. He helps him out from not dying after the car crash because he's getting crushed by the steering wheel and he like removes it.
Right.
Then because he helped, he meets the daughter of this professor, this girl named Judy. And they just like meet and are instantly friends. So this professor is questioned and he just doesn't remember anything. The professor has this pin on his shirt. We find out that he's being mind controlled through that pin. And after everyone leaves him in his hospital room, he is basically mind controlled and ordered to kill himself. Like
Right.
his name is up at a screen elsewhere with the words destroy. And as soon as that's typed in, he just gets up and very slowly goes to the window. And he does it so slowly that Peter has time to run away, put on his suit, climb all the way up to the top of the building and stop him. Which means it takes him at least like 5 minutes to kill himself. And later, this girl who's now just best friends with Peter, she comes by and tells him that she knows of this like new age guru that's
Right.
giving a talk, and she wants to go to the talk. So they go to this talk. That's this guy giving this talk about happiness. The angriest looking guy in the world.
so upset.
The angriest, most evil looking guy.
Yeah.
Well, I know what would make me happy. A house in the country for my children.
That's another one of those stupid dreams. Until you live now,
Burn.
you'll never get a chance to know it. You've lived in your mind so much you've probably never lived anywhere else.
Is this motivational speaking? What is this?
It's breaking them down so we can build them back up.
Like, this guy's supposed to be a new age guru that's inspirational? Why are people coming to him?
Yeah, and then, apparently it works, because then the girl, Jill, is like, oh, I thought that was pretty good. I'm going to go back.
Yeah, she's like, I want to go back. That was interesting. And Peter's like, what?
I think I'm ready. Maybe Byron Sessions will help. I can't wait to start the training.
And we don't. And was that mind control, or did she legitimately
I think she was
enjoy
into it.
She see, yeah, because at this point she hasn't been mind fucked or anything, so she just legitimately is inspired
Right.
by this evil sounding man.
So Peter Parker suspects that the guy is evil, and that's why he dresses up as Spider-Man and infiltrates that place?
Well, I think first he creates his web shooter
Right, he
and
creates web shooters.
goes practice on a tree. He shoots a web at it and he swings around like twice, and he's like, got it.
And he never swings again. Does he?
He uses his webs. I
He
don't
uses
know.
his webs, which are like Halloween store webs.
Yeah, literally like Halloween store webs, just like. And of course, it's revealed that this guru guy is behind all the mind control that's
Right.
been happening.
And he has two henchmen who have been giving the pins to people and then taking them off, like so the police don't catch on.
There's multiple times in this pilot where Spidey breaks into the guru's headquarters.
Yeah.
And when he breaks in, he's attacked by 3 guys with sticks, and he can barely handle them. Spider-Man can't handle 3 guys with sticks.
He's just running away. Oh god, I'm fucked. My spidey sense tells me I'm screwed.
Oh, by the way, because this is the 70s, Peter Parker's wearing very tight pants, so he has a bulge that's pretty distracting
Yeah.
throughout. Oh my god, that bulge is obscene. I-
Do you think it's the same actor in the costume?
Probably. I mean, look at that bulge.
Yeah, you can tell by
You
the
can
bulge.
tell by the bulge. So he goes to talk to the guru himself.
Right.
And the guru's like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll talk to you. I'll go into that room, please, and I'll be right there. And basically, Peter goes into this room, and he gets mind-fucked, and he also gets a pin.
Right,
The guy gives him a pin. So he is now under the control of the guy without him even knowing about it. And so is Judy. So the evil New Age guru is trying to enact his plan of having 10 people in the city kill themselves. Which, by the way, why only 10 people? Like, if you have this power, why not just have it be 50 people or 100?
I only made 10 pins. I don't feel like going back to the shop. That's why.
It looked like the city and the cops are willing to give out the ransom money. So he sends them this plan and tells them, oh, they must deliver it by boat.
To a plane in the bay.
Yeah, in the water. So the boat with the cops on meets the plane, and they just arrest the guys on the plane.
I guess they were just willing to let those people die.
Well, they thought they were bluffing.
Right,
They were
right.
like, we don't really believe in this mind control crap, so we're just gonna arrest these guys.
Yeah.
And the evil guru guy's like, well, that's it. Everyone kill themselves. And we see Peter, Judy, and 2 other random people. Couldn't afford 10 people. So we only see them about to commit suicide. Peter gets to the top of the Empire State Building and climbs a fence intending to throw himself off.
Ah,
Come on!
that's stupid as hell.
Really? Peter immediately realizes what's happening and
Right.
gets on the Spider-Man suit, goes to the bad guy's headquarters, and knocks off the radio tower
Yeah.
with his
All
web.
the while the people are just sort of standing there waiting to commit suicide.
Yes!
Like, so stupid.
The timing is very weird. After he knocks off the radio tower, the
Right.
guy's computers
Backfires?
Yeah, they explode and start acting weird. And basically what happens is that the guy gets hypnotized by his own devices.
Right. And so Peter Parker, when he finds him in the building hypnotized, basically is able to hypnotize him to go and confess to the police of all his crimes.
Yes, and also it turns out that those kung fu guys with the sticks, they were hypnotized also, so they're all cool with Peter.
And they were good all along.
Yeah, and they just take some cool pictures with
photos.
Spider-Man.
What are you doing here?
Oh, sir, here, I thought you'd like to see these.
What are they?
It's incredible. How come you're the only one who's able to get pictures of him?
Simple. I believe.
No, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yay!
What? The question of belief was never brought up. Everyone believes that he exists.
So, Chason, would you recommend The Amazing Spider-Man, the 1970s TV show, TM?
Yes, I think I would.
You would?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I would just say, like, if you feel like fast forwarding, go for it. Because there's a lot of stuff you can fast forward through. But I love that police chief, honestly. Like, I feel like it's worth it just to see some police chief scenes.
So you would recommend this?
Kind of.
Yeah, that's pretty shocking, because I wouldn't. The police captain is pretty fun, but other than that, this was very boring.
Yeah.
Like, it was so padded. So many scenes of walking, so many scenes of climbing, so much just, like, nonsense that doesn't quite pay off. It's just mostly dull. So, I wouldn't really recommend it. There's 13 episodes in total.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get through all that.
Yeah, if you want to check that out, be my guest. You mentioned during us watching that you thought the soundtrack would be pretty good if it was put under Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3 when he becomes all emo.
Yeah.
So why don't we end the episode with a little Tobey Maguire dancing to the soundtrack of the 70s Spider-Man.
Yay.
See you guys.
Bye.